While older people around me were panicking and clearing store shelves, I was quietly stocking up on 10 types of food that almost no one notices. This video is made to show you do not need to follow the crowd if you know what you are doing. During recent panic buying waves in the United States, from the pandemic period to rising inflation, one pattern kept repeating. Rice, noodles, canned meat disappeared first. But the items on this list were still sitting untouched on the shelves. Some will help you maintain energy longer. Some help you still want to eat after many days. And some are very small, but make a very big difference. But the further you go down this list, the more important it becomes. Especially item number 7. Something many people ignore until they truly need it. And by then, it is too late. 10. Nutritional yeast. While many older people around me were pushing to grab noodles, rice, canned goods, the things everyone thinks of first, I went to a section where almost no one was standing. And one of the things I quietly took off the shelf was nutritional yeast. It may sound strange, I know, because this is not something you look at and think, I need this. But that is exactly why I chose it. I do not store nutritional yeast because it makes me full right away. I store it because it solves a problem that many people only realize too late. It is not that you run out of food. It is that you still have food, but you start not wanting to eat anymore. After a few days of eating rice, noodles, soup, or canned food, the first thing to go is not always calories, but flavor and appetite. And when you no longer want to eat, you eat less. And that is when your body begins to weaken. I think about nutritional yeast very simply. It is like a kind of dry cheese that does not need refrigeration. Just sprinkle a little on rice, noodles, soup, or anything that is bland. The flavor changes immediately. It is nothing fancy, but enough to make the food easier to eat. Enough for me to still want to finish my portion. For me, that is the real value. I do not prepare just to have something to put in my stomach. I prepare so that simple meals are still easy to eat, familiar enough for me to maintain a normal routine. In the United States, I often see nutritional yeast placed in the healthy food or vegan section in supermarkets like Whole Foods Market, Trader Joe's, or Walmart. While people focus on the familiar shelves, this area is usually much quieter. Not because it is not good, but because most people do not think of it. And that is my advantage. I do not need to compete for what everyone is grabbing. I just need to choose what is truly useful that others overlook. Besides flavor, nutritional yeast also adds some plant-based protein and B vitamins, things that are easy to lack when the diet becomes simplified. You may still eat enough to feel full, but if you lack micronutrients, you will still feel tired, unfocused, and gradually weaken. It may sound small, but this is something many people only realize when they start eating less, even though there is still food in the fridge. In terms of storage, this is one of the easiest items to keep. Dry form, low moisture, unopened, it can last 1 to 2 years. After opening, I just transfer it to an airtight jar. Keep it in a dry place away from light, and it stays usable for many months. A common mistake is leaving it in the original bag or paper container, causing it to absorb moisture, clump, and lose its flavor. My method is very simple. Buy in bulk to save money. Divide into airtight jars to use gradually, and always rotate. Use first, buy later. Nutritional yeast is not what helps you survive a single day, but it is what helps you keep eating consistently over many days. People stock up to feel full. I stock up to still want to eat. And sometimes, that difference is what keeps you stable longer when things start to get difficult. If it were you, in that situation, Would you choose to stock up on the familiar things like everyone else? Or would you choose the things few people notice, but last longer like this? 9 instant noodles. Not the cheap kind just to feel full, but the kind with real seasoning, dried vegetables, and clear flavor. Something that makes you feel like this is a meal, not just something to get by. Why does this matter? Not because of nutrition, but because of psychology. After a few days of eating the same thing, rice, beans, canned food, the problem is no longer whether you have enough food, but that you start losing interest in eating. One person shared very honestly, "I still have food, but I no longer want to eat." And that is when everything starts to go downhill. You eat less, energy drops, and the atmosphere in the family changes as well. A different meal, just once, can completely change that. A hot bowl of noodles with rich broth, familiar aroma, a slight spice, or a bit of richness can bring you back to a normal state. You do not just eat, you want to eat. And when you still want to eat, you maintain your energy and keep your mental state stable. That is the real value of quality instant noodles. Not to nourish the body, but to keep you feeling that life is still normal. One special point that many people overlook: Asian markets. During panic buying, people usually rush to familiar places, but they rarely think about international stores. And that is why products like this are often still on the shelves. Not because they are inferior, but because they are not part of most people's shopping habits. That is the advantage. In terms of use, this is one of the most convenient foods. Just hot water, a few minutes, and it is done. No preparation, no skill needed. You can eat it on its own or add anything you have. A bit of protein, some vegetables, or simply eat it as it is. It is flexible, easy to use, and fits most situations. For storage, instant noodles can last quite long if kept dry and away from high temperatures. However, over time, the oil in the seasoning packet may degrade, so it is best to rotate, use first, buy later, rather than store for too long. A common mistake is only buying the cheapest kind. But when you need it most, what makes the difference is not the price, but the flavor. In terms of cost, this is not the cheapest food per calorie, but it is one of the foods with the highest psychological value. A pack of noodles may not keep you full for long, but it can pull you out of a state of loss of appetite, and that is more valuable than you think. Instant noodles are not a main food, but in a prolonged situation, sometimes what helps you continue is not what nourishes the body, but what helps you still want to eat every day. 8 seasoning cubes. There is a reason why many people eat less, even when their pantry is still full of food. It sounds very ordinary, seasoning cubes. But this is something that solves a problem almost no one thinks about when storing food. It is not hunger, it is boredom. After a few days of eating the same things like rice, beans, or canned food, your body still has enough calories, but you start not wanting to eat anymore. And when you do not want to eat, you eat less. And that is how you become weaker, even though you still have food. In many households in the United States, especially older people living alone, eating the same meal for many days is very common. And small things like seasoning cubes are what help them not skip meals. The real function of seasoning cubes is not to keep you alive, but to help you keep eating. They provide sodium and some minerals that help the body maintain electrolytes, especially when you sweat or have a limited diet. You may have enough calories, but still feel tired if you lack electrolytes. However, the greatest value lies in psychology. Just one small cube can turn a bland meal into something with flavor, create the feeling that this is real food, and help you maintain a regular eating habit. Seasoning cubes are typically good for 1 to 2 years, even longer if stored properly. The reason is that they have very low moisture and contain a lot of salt, a natural preservative that helps limit bacterial growth. They rarely spoil completely, but rather lose aroma and effectiveness over time. Just keep them in a dry place, away from moisture, and it is best to transfer them into an airtight jar after opening. The most common mistake is leaving them in the original paper box or cardboard packaging. These absorb moisture very quickly, making the cubes soft, losing aroma and reducing quality. In addition, placing them near the stove or in high heat areas also causes the flavor to fade faster. This is one of the most cost-effective items. Very low cost, but can improve dozens, even hundreds of meals. In some situations, small, convenient, and common items like this can also be used for trade, because everyone needs flavor when eating stored food for a long time. You should not open everything at once. Divide them into multiple airtight jars to avoid moisture. You can add desiccant packets to extend shelf life. Always rotate, use first, buy later, to maintain quality. A money-saving tip is to buy in bulk packs instead of individual units, because the price per cube will be significantly lower. Seasoning cubes are not a main food, but in a prolonged situation, what keeps you going is not how much food you have, but whether you can still eat it every day. 7. Instant mashed potatoes. What will you do if you are too tired to cook, but still need a hot meal? This is a very real situation, especially for many older people living alone, and that is when ultra-simple items become more important than ever. In the United States, mashed potatoes are one of the most common dishes in family meals, and this dry powder form is essentially the long-term storage version of that familiar dish. The problem is not that you do not have food, it is that you do not have something easy to cook. When everything becomes tiring, when you do not want to stand in the kitchen for long, when conditions are not favorable, you need something fast, simple, and still provides enough energy. That is exactly where instant mashed potatoes show their value. This is a source of easy-to-digest carbohydrates, helping the body absorb quickly and generate energy immediately. Especially when the body is tired, or when you have been eating simply for many days. These kinds of easy-to-use carbohydrates help you maintain strength without complex preparation. In addition, it is gluten-free, making it suitable for many people with sensitive digestion. Its real value lies in flexibility. You can thicken soups, cook it into a porridge-like form, make quick cakes, or simply mix it with hot water and eat it. No need for many ingredients. No need for skills. In a simple situation, 5 minutes is enough to have a hot meal. And this is the key point. You do not need to prepare much. You just need something that works immediately. The storage ability of potato flakes is also a major advantage. When unopened, it can keep well for 1 to 2 years. The reason is the very low moisture, which makes it difficult for bacteria to grow. It does not spoil easily. It only loses quality if stored incorrectly. Keeping quality is very simple. Always keep it dry, sealed, and away from moisture. Just a little moisture, and the powder will clump and lose its original texture. Do not use a wet spoon. Do not leave it in paper packaging. These small mistakes are the reason it spoils faster than you think. Another common mistake is buying it but never trying it. When you finally need it, you are not familiar with how to prepare it, and that turns a very convenient food into something difficult to use. This is one of the most cost-effective carbohydrate sources. One package can be used for many meals, and each time you only need a small amount. Compared to cooking rice or preparing many other ingredients, it saves both time and effort. I divide it into multiple airtight jars instead of keeping it in one large bag. Always rotate. Use first, buy later. And most importantly, try using it a few times before you actually need it. Potato flakes are not something everyone thinks of, and that is exactly the advantage. While people stock up on familiar things, they overlook the easiest things to use. Because in the end, the problem is not what you have to eat, but how fast you can cook it. 6. Ghee butter. Many people think they eat enough until they start feeling constantly tired. Not because of lack of food, but because of lacking something the body needs to maintain sustainable daily energy. This is not regular butter. Ghee is a form of butter where water and impurities have been removed, leaving only pure fat. And that is what creates the difference. It is more stable, spoils less easily, and can be kept at room temperature for a long time if stored properly. No refrigeration needed. No dependence on electricity. In prolonged situations, this is a very clear advantage. In terms of the body, Ghee provides a dense energy source that is released slowly. This helps maintain endurance, prevent energy crashes, and support warmth. You may eat a lot of carbohydrates, but still feel weak if your diet lacks fat. And that is something many people only realize when they start feeling tired. The practical value of ghee lies in its efficiency. Just a small amount is enough to change an entire meal. You can mix it into rice, add it to soup, or use it when cooking simple dishes. It not only increases energy, but also makes food richer and easier to eat. After a few days of eating bland food, just a little, and the meal feels normal again. And when you still want to eat, you maintain your strength. Another notable point is heat resistance. Ghee burns less easily than regular butter and retains its flavor when cooked at high temperatures. This gives you more flexibility in cooking without needing complex techniques. Ghee can last for many months, even longer if unopened and stored properly. The reason is that there is no water, the factor that makes food spoil easily. However, this does not mean you can store it carelessly. Maintaining quality is very simple. Always keep it sealed, avoid direct light, and do not let water get in. Just a little moisture, and the quality will decline quickly. Do not use a wet spoon. Do not leave the lid open too long. These small details determine how long the product lasts. A common mistake is confusing ghee with regular butter, leading to improper storage. In addition, many people focus only on carbohydrates and ignore stable fat sources like this, making the diet unbalanced. You do not need to use much, just a small amount each time, but with clear effect. One jar can be used for a long time, and its value lies in helping you maintain stable energy every day. I usually choose well-sealed packaging and divide it into smaller portions to limit opening frequently. Always rotate, use first, restock later, and ideally, try using it beforehand to get familiar with how to use it. Ghee butter is not a main food, but in a prolonged situation, what matters is not how much food you have, but whether you have a stable enough energy source to maintain each day. 5. Dried seaweed. Dried seaweed contains iodine, a micronutrient the body needs daily, but is very easy to lack when the diet becomes simple. Iodine plays a direct role in regulating energy, supporting thyroid function, and affecting concentration. When lacking it, the body does not collapse immediately, but begins to slow down. You still eat enough, still live normally, but always feel tired, your mind not clear. Everything becomes less effective. This is the kind of deficiency many people do not notice because it is not as obvious as hunger or lack of calories. And that is the real problem. Most people, when storing food, Focus on what is easy to see: energy, protein, fat. But the body does not only need those. If you lack micronutrients like iodine, the whole system still works, but not optimally. You may eat enough, but not truly have strength. Dried seaweed addresses exactly this gap. Just a very small amount, added to rice, cooked in soup, or eaten directly, is enough to provide the necessary iodine. You do not need to eat much. In fact, using too much is not good. What matters is consistency and moderation. Besides iodine, seaweed also provides some other minerals such as magnesium, calcium, and natural fiber, helping support digestion and maintain body balance in a restricted diet. But the greatest value still lies in supplying micronutrients that common stored foods do not provide. One clear strength is its lightweight but high value. You can store it with almost no space required. In situations where you need to optimize space and resources, this is a major advantage. Its storage capability is also very good. Because it is fully dried, seaweed can last a long time if stored properly. No refrigeration needed. No complex conditions required. But there is one factor you must pay attention to: moisture. Seaweed easily absorbs moisture from the environment. Just leaving it exposed for a while will make it soft, lose its crispness, and clearly reduce quality. This is its biggest weakness. The most effective storage method is very simple. Always seal it tightly after opening, avoid humid air, and do not keep it near areas with steam. If possible, use desiccant packets to maintain the best condition. Do not open multiple packs at once. A common mistake is completely ignoring this type of food because it is unfamiliar. And the result is that the body lacks micronutrients without you even knowing. In addition, improper sealing during storage also causes quality to decline very quickly. In terms of cost, this is one of the small but valuable foods. The price is not high, it lasts a long time, and each use only requires a very small amount. Compared to the benefits, this is a reasonable investment. I choose well-sealed packaging, divide it into smaller portions if needed, and always rotate. Use first, buy later. It is best to try using it beforehand to get familiar with how to eat it. In the end, the problem is not how much food you have, but whether your body is receiving enough of what it needs to keep functioning every day or not. 4. Chia seeds. You do not need to eat more if you know how to extend the feeling of fullness. Chia seeds do that. When in contact with water, each small seed expands into a gel layer, slowing digestion and causing energy to be released gradually, instead of dropping quickly, like when you only eat carbohydrates. The result is clear. You eat once, but stay full longer. One viewer once shared, "I did not change how much I eat. I just added chia seeds, and I no longer feel hungry between meals." That is the difference. Not in the amount of food, but in how the body uses it. You can eat a full bowl of rice, but feel hungry again after 2 to 3 hours, not because you ate too little, but because that energy was used too quickly. And that is a common mistake, thinking you need to eat more to have enough energy, when you can extend energy instead of increasing portions. Chia seeds are not a main energy source, but they help you make the most of what you have eaten. Besides the long-lasting fullness effect, they also provide high fiber, some healthy fats, omega-3, and a bit of protein, supporting stable energy and digestion. In situations where food sources are limited, this becomes extremely valuable. You do not need to store more. You just need to use it more efficiently. The way to use it is very simple. Add it to water, wait a few minutes for it to fully expand, then drink directly, or mix it into porridge, milk, or soup. It does not change how you cook. but it changes how you feel after eating. Important note: do not use it dry. Chia seeds absorb water very strongly. Eating them dry can cause digestive discomfort. Just soak them first. Simple but required. A reasonable amount per use is only 1 to 2 small spoons. No need for more. In terms of storage, this is an easy item. Keep it dry, sealed, avoid moisture, and it will last a long time. No refrigeration needed. A common mistake is leaving it exposed or buying it and then not using it regularly, which reduces quality and causes waste. Divide it into airtight jars, use gradually and rotate. Use first, restock later. The cost per use is low, but the effect becomes clear over time. Chia seeds do not make you feel full immediately. They help you not get hungry too quickly. And in a prolonged situation, what matters is not how much food you have, but how long you can stretch it. 3. Powdered milk is not rare, but it is one of the easiest things to misuse. Many people buy it, leave it in the original paper container, open and close it many times, and then wonder why it spoils quickly. In reality, the problem is not the powdered milk. It is how you store it. This is a dry food, quite stable if stored properly. When unopened, it can maintain quality for a long time. But once exposed to humid air, everything starts to change. The powder clumps, the smell fades, and its usability is no longer the same as before. Just by changing one small step, transferring it into an airtight jar, keeping it dry, limiting how often you open it, you can significantly extend its shelf life. Nutritionally, powdered milk provides things many other stored foods do not. Protein to maintain the body, calcium to support bones, along with some essential vitamins. When the diet becomes simple, these components help you stay stable instead of just eating to feel full. But what truly gives powdered milk its value lies somewhere else. It helps you maintain familiar routines. When fresh milk is no longer available, you can still make a cup of coffee, cook a bowl of soup with a rich taste, or prepare familiar dishes. Small details like that are not only about nutrition, they directly affect the sense of normalcy in daily life. And that is something many people underestimate. You do not just need to survive. You need to feel that everything is still normal. The way to use it is also simple. Just mix it with water in the right ratio, or add it directly into dishes while cooking. No special skills needed, just a few times and you get used to it. One important note: avoid using a wet spoon. Avoid placing it near areas with steam, and do not leave it open for too long. These small details have a major impact on actual shelf life. Many people think powdered milk lasts long, so they do not pay attention. But in reality, it only stays stable if you control the surrounding environment. In terms of cost, this is a very reasonable option. One container can be used for many purposes: drinking, cooking, baking, and each time only a moderate amount is needed. Compared to relying entirely on fresh food, this is much more flexible. Divide it into multiple airtight jars instead of keeping it in one large container. Use gradually and restock later. Avoid opening everything at once. If possible, try using it beforehand to get familiar with preparation. Powdered milk is not the first thing you think of, but when familiar options disappear, you can still make coffee, cook meals, and maintain your routine. And sometimes, that is what helps you stay stable long-term. 2. Coconut milk. There is a reason why many people still feel tired, even when they eat enough. On average, one 400 milliliter can of coconut milk can provide about 700 to 800 calories, most of it from fat. But what is notable is this: Very few people think about storing it. They buy a lot of rice, noodles, beans, but forget something just as important. And that is a mistake. You may have enough calories, but still get hungry quickly, still lose strength, if your diet lacks fat. A bowl of white rice can make you feel full, but after 2 to 3 hours, you are hungry again. That is because carbohydrates provide quick energy, but do not last long. Meanwhile, fat releases energy more slowly, helping you maintain endurance and stay stable longer. In supermarkets like Walmart or Costco, a can of coconut milk usually costs around $2 to $3, but the energy it provides can be equivalent to an entire small meal. It does not just make food richer, it helps you stay full longer, maintain energy longer, and even helps the body retain warmth in limited conditions. When you have to eat simply for many days, fat is no longer an option. It is essential to maintain your condition. Its practical value is very clear. Just one small can completely change a meal. You can add it to rice to create richness, cook it with soup to increase depth, or mix it into simple dishes to make them much easier to eat. You do not need to eat more. You just need to eat smarter. When meals contain enough fat, you will feel full longer and be less likely to experience energy drops during the day. The storage ability of coconut milk is also notable. When unopened, it can keep well for 1 to 2 years. After opening, it should be used within a short time to ensure quality. This makes it one of the most convenient fat sources when long-term refrigeration is not available. Keeping quality is very simple. Store it in a dry, cool place when unopened. After opening, if possible, seal it tightly and use it soon. Do not open multiple cans at once. That is the fastest way to waste it. A very common mistake is focusing only on carbohydrates without including a fat source. In addition, many people open a can but do not finish it, causing the food to spoil quickly and lose its value. In terms of cost versus benefit, this is one of the most cost-effective options. One small can be used for multiple meals, and each time only a moderate amount is needed to change the entire eating experience. Compared to many other fat sources that are harder to store, this is a much simpler and more efficient solution. I buy in bulk to save cost, but always rotate. Use first, restock later. If you do not use it all at once, divide it and use it within the day to avoid waste. Coconut milk is not a main food, but in a prolonged situation, the problem is not how much food you have, but whether your diet is enough to keep you functioning every day. 1. Pet food, you can prepare everything for yourself. But if you miss one small thing, pressure will appear immediately. Pet food is one of the most commonly overlooked items. In normal conditions, you do not notice it. But when things become limited, you realize pets cannot adapt like humans. They depend entirely on you. And if the food supply is disrupted, the pressure does not only come from shortage, but also from emotion. One viewer once said, "I had enough food for my family, but when I saw my dog had nothing to eat, that was when I truly felt stressed." And that is the truth. This is not just about food, but about responsibility. In practical terms, dry pet food has a very clear advantage. It lasts long, requires no preparation, and does not depend on electricity or equipment. You just open it and use it. In unstable situations, this simplicity becomes extremely important. Nutritionally, dry pet food is designed to provide complete protein, fat, vitamins, and minerals. You do not have to struggle to find substitutes, which is very easy to get wrong. But there is something many people do not realize. The stability of your pet directly affects your own stability. When they are well fed, everything remains normal. No stress, no behavior changes. But when they lack food, they become anxious, restless, and that spreads to the whole household. Another person shared, "When my cat started meowing from hunger, my whole family felt the pressure." In terms of storage, dry pet food can last long if unopened and stored properly. But after opening, it needs to be sealed tightly, kept away from moisture and insects. A common mistake is buying large bags but not dividing them, causing quality to decline quickly. Another mistake, not storing any at all until you actually need it. In terms of cost, this is a reasonable choice if bought in bulk. And more importantly, it helps you avoid having to use unsuitable substitutes. A simple tip: divide into airtight containers, use gradually, and always keep a backup supply. This is not food for you, but it directly affects you. Because in the end, stability does not only come from having enough food for yourself, but from making sure what you care about is still properly taken care of. And that is what truly brings peace of mind. You do not need a massive stockpile of food to feel safe. You just need the right choices. Small things, often overlooked, but they make a big difference over time. From flavor, energy, to nutrition, and even psychology, each item on this list solves a problem that many people do not realize until it is too late. And in the end, what matters is not how much food you have, but how long you can maintain a stable life. If you care about preparing more intelligently, especially for long-term health, in the next video I will share. Older adults only need these 6 types of food to get through difficult times. These are simpler, more practical choices, and better suited for the body over time. Keep watching, because sometimes less is enough.